Alright, we've got another video here on Scavenger's Bounty. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're not just looking at penny rolls today. We've got 4 different denominations of coins, and we're going to look through 10 batches of each coin. We're going to be looking for a variety of different rare coins, and I want to show you here, we already have a couple of finds. As you can see here, we have 2 wheat cents on the end of these 2 penny rolls, so that makes me excited for the rest of the coins in that batch. But we're going to go through all these, see if there's anything rare in there, and I'll check back with you when I find something. Okay, here's our first roll here. We're going to start out with the quarters and move from right to left, finishing off with the pennies. But the first thing we want to look for in the quarters is any silver coins, because starting from 1964 and previous, quarters in the United States were actually made of 90% silver. So what we want to look for is a coin that doesn't have any of that red copper showing. Looks like we don't have any here. Or over here. Silver quarters are pretty rare to find, but occasionally you do find them in rolls. Okay, now that we've looked at that, we've got to go through these coins and see if there's anything rare here. Alright, here's something interesting. So this is going to be a bicentennial quarter from the year 1976, celebrating 200 years of the United States. These are relatively common, but they're the only quarters with these unique backgrounds before 1999. Before then, they would have all just looked like this, the eagle, and the date on the front. This one has the drummer there and the double date. So I will be keeping that. I just personally like to keep them. They're, like I said, not particularly rare, but it is something interesting. Okay, that's everything for our first roll. You might have noticed I've been stopping and looking at a few coins rather closely. On the quarters, there are a number of things you can find, but they tend to be more in the details and a little bit harder to spot. So for example, if I can find one here, we've got these 2020 coins. This one, for example, is the Salt River Bay. But if we look here where that mint mark is, if that's a W, then it's a very rare coin to find. I do have one W mint mark quarter, but yeah, like I said, they're pretty rare. So you can find them in the 2019s and the 2020 quarters. And so any of those that I see, I will take a close look at them and see if they have that W mint mark. Okay, here's our second quarter roll. All right, coming out the gate, this is a District of Columbia quarter from 2009. These ones aren't super rare, but they are definitely less common than most of the other quarters you'll find. So that's something that I will keep. Anything from the year 2009 through the 2012 quarters is something that I will keep. Not all coin collectors would pull those out because, like I said, they're not super rare, but I think they're just low enough in mintage that they're worth keeping. So let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. Here's our third quarter roll. So I'm also taking a look at these coins. If Washington's hat is disfigured there, then that is going to be an error coin. I believe you only find those from the Philadelphia Mint, and most of the ones we have are going to be from the Denver Mint, but I'm keeping an eye out for those. Then there is another error you can find on these Kansas 2005 quarters. The error is that the T in God We Trust will be just a bit faded. So you won't be able to see it as clearly. So that's also an error coin that I'm looking for. So there's another error we're going to be looking for in these Delaware quarters. We're going to be looking for what's called the spitting horse error, and that is an error where there will be a little line right here going from the horse's mouth to the edge of the coin. That's a mintage error, and we're going to be keeping an eye out for that one. Here's another one of those bicentennial quarters. Very cool to find. We'll be putting that to the side. And then here is a Mount Hood quarter from the year 2010. So like I said before, we're going to be taking out anything from the year 2009 until 2012. But because I'm looking for so many quarters, there's going to be about 20 designs. So I'm not going to show you all of them that I find, but I will give you a final tally at the end of all the ones that I found. Okay, here's our last roll of quarters. Let's see if there's anything interesting in here. All right, now to wrap up those quarters, we found 12 quarters from between the years 2009 and 2012, so it's somewhat common, but rarer than some other quarters. And then we got 3 bicentennial quarters. That's a pretty good amount for 10 rolls. I'm happy about that. Now on to dimes. These 10 rolls of dimes actually look like they may all be brand new from the mint. And if that's the case, then there's not going to be anything interesting in them, and I'll just go through them really quickly. But if we do see something like silver in there, I'll stop and record that. All right, here's our last roll of dimes. And as you can see there, they are all roughly in the same condition because they are all brand new. You can see the date there as 2023. And that is how all of these dime rolls have been. So unfortunately, we got all brand new dimes, nothing interesting there. But I'm not too deterred by that because there's usually not much to find in the dimes. Okay, now onto the nickel rolls. There is some silver to look for here. It doesn't look like there's any in this particular roll, but those silver nickels will be what's called war nickels from some of the years of World War II in the 40s. You'll be able to see them because they'll be darker in appearance than the rest because of the way that silver tarnishes, but it doesn't look like we have any of that here. I'll let you know what we are looking for as I go through this first roll. The big thing that we look for is buffalo nickels. So that's going to be any nickel from 1913 to 1938. They are quite identifiable, but we're also looking for any nickels that are before the year 1960, because those will tend to be lower mintage nickels and a little more rare, a little more valuable. Other than that, all we'd be looking for is things like proofs. But generally, it is just the older nickels that we're looking for. And there's nothing here, so I'll move on to the next roll. All right, we're here on the second roll. We do have a darker coin there. I don't think that's going to be silver because just the way it looks more like a very old nickel. But let's take a look at it. Yeah, no, this doesn't look like it's old enough to be silver. The year on that is going to be a 2006, I believe. So just dirty nickel is all, but it was somewhat close to the color that we're looking for in a silver nickel. So let's take a look at the rest of these. There's something. There's a 1954 nickel. So that's a lower mintage, and I think I will put that mintage up on the screen for you for that 1954 nickel. Let's go through the rest of this. Here's something interesting. This is the, I can't remember what the series is called, but there in the early 2000s, we had some interesting designs on the reverse of the nickels. So this one's the one commemorating the Louisiana Purchase. Just some historical nickels commemorating that, but they're not rare at all, so I'm not going to be taking them out. This one's close. It's a 1962, but not quite what we're looking for. Here's another one of those early 2000s coins. This one commemorating the Lewis and Clark expedition, but you do see quite a few of those. There's another less common one. There's a 1940 nickel. So it's one of the oldest Jefferson nickels you can find. Like I said, they started after the Buffalo nickel, ended in 1938, so 1939 will be the oldest Jefferson nickel that you'll find. So I'll put the mintage figure up for that 1940 nickel there. And we'll see if there's anything else in this roll. Now looking at roll number 4, there is one nickel here that's a little more darkly colored than the rest, so I'll take a look at that. But again, that's just going to be rather a nickel that's a little dirty and a little worn down, so nothing there. All right, here's another one of these special designs from the early 2000s in the nickels. This one can get mistook for a Buffalo nickel, but it is not. Okay, this here is roll number 6. Again, we have a darker nickel there, but you can actually see some of the corrosion on there, which will show you that it's not silver. Unless it is. Let's take a closer look at that. Okay, so I didn't mention that these were 30% silver. So in fact, you will not see that kind of corrosion on a silver quarter or a silver dime, but on a silver nickel you actually can. So let's take another close look for the date there. I think that's going to be in 1944. Hold on, let me take a close look at it and I'll get back to you. Okay, so upon taking a closer look at this, I do believe the date is going to be 1944. I can take a closer look later, but for now, that's what we're going to go with. And additionally, you can see, or you can just barely make out a mint mark above the Monticello there. And that is going to be another identifier of a silver war nickel, because it will have the mint mark above the Monticello as opposed to on the side like you will with other nickels. So while I was not expecting to get one of these out today, that is going to be one of our Silver War nickels, and that's going to help me to identify them in the future by the edge looking more like that. But that is a really exciting find there. All right, here's another one of those designs from the early 2000s, Ocean in View. So I guess that's when the first explorers out here in the West got to the Pacific Ocean. But that's going to be another common one, so we just pulled another one out, so we're going to keep on looking. All right, you can see another old nickel coming out here. Another 1940, and I guess we can look at the mint mark. So it's going to be a plain mint mark, so that's going to be from the Philadelphia Mint. So we'll give you the mintage figures for that. And that's going to do it for this roll. Okay, here's our final roll of nickels. Okay, there's something interesting. That is a 1957 nickel. So we are going to be keeping that one, and I'll show you the mintage figures for that up on the screen. Okay, with that, that's going to do it for the nickels. Let me show you what we found from there. We found a 1954, two 1940s, what I believe is a 1944 right there, and finally we found a 1957. So some good finds coming out of the nickels. Let's see if those can get beat by the pennies. Okay, first roll of pennies, here we go. And here's roll number 2. Let's see if we can find anything. There's one wheat cent coming out. I spied the date on that before I flipped it, but we're going to go through the rest of this roll first and see if there's anything else in here. All right, nothing else in there. So I'm going to take a look at the date on this one. That's going to be a 1955 Denver. So we're going to put the mintage numbers up on that one for you, and we'll go through the rest of these 8 rolls. Okay, I actually missed it here in roll number 7. There's a 2009 penny for us, that Professional Life penny from the Denver Mint. So we're going to put that off to the side. Here is roll number 8. And already we've got another 2009 Professional Life coin coming out. Again from the Denver Mint. Let's see if there's anything else in here. That is going to be all. Okay, now we're on to roll number 9 with that wheat cent ender. I'm going to open it and look through the coins from the opposite end first, so that we can just see that coin at the end and flip it over at the same time. Okay, so the only find out of here is going to be this wheat cent. The year on that is going to be 1958, so that's the newest design you can get. But I will put the mintage figures up there, and let's get on to the next one. And here we've got roll number 10. It's going to be the last roll of this hunt. So hopefully we'll be able to find some good stuff in here, but overall it's been a good hunt. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, share, and comment down below what else you want to see me look through, what kind of different coin rolls and different coin roll hunts. And we've just got another 2009 penny, the birth and early childhood years from the Denver Mint. And once we finish this up, I will give you a quick recap of everything we found today. Looks like that's going to be it. The last thing we've got is this wheat cent, and that is going to be a 1926. How do you like that? That's a lot older than I was expecting to find, and that's a great way to end this hunt. So to recap what we got in the quarters, we got 3 bicentennial quarters and 12 quarters between the years 2009 and 2012. In the nickels, we got a 1954, a 1940, a 1944 war nickel, another 1940, and a 1957. We didn't find anything in the dimes, unfortunately, but then in the pennies, we found a 1955 Denver, 2 2009 professional life pennies, a 1958 Denver, then we found the birth and early childhood design, and finally we found a 1926 penny. So again, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.